Hey, what is up, all MRBers? Welcome to the Mick Rockabolt Wrestling Review Show. And before I get into this Raw review, right now I want to take the time to give a shout out to all my Canadian fans out there. Happy Canada Day! This episode of Raw really felt like a roller coaster. One of those ones where it goes up and down, up and down. And with this, Raw, it started in the down spot, working its way up, and then it goes down again. Up, down, up, until it stays up until the final hour of the show. So overall, this was a weird episode. I won't say it was outstanding. I won't say it was garbage. It's just one of those matches where it's right in the middle. It was a decent show overall. So with that being said, let's just get right down to what happened on the show. We kick off with the Authority, Vince McMahon and Triple H. Can we please, for the love of God, change up the segments on this show? Why not kick off a Raw with a match instead of a promo segment? If you want to kick off your show, if you want to stamp that we will set the tone right now and set it high, do it with a match. To me, this was a bad and repetitive tone to kick off WWE RAW. You have the Authority come out and they're talking about the whole Daniel Bryan injury, the Seth Rollins win that Money in the Bank, is saying that Rollins is the future of the WWE, and John Cena comes out. And to me, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, the Authority are too nice to John Cena, and they're also upset about Cena being the champion. And here I'm thinking, why? I mean, he's the guy you want as a champion, the corporate entity, the A+ player, as Triple H and Stephanie McMahon calls it, and you have Randy Orton, the go-to guy, that failed to do it, and somehow they're not okay with John Cena, even though he is a Breakfast Club member like they are. Interesting. Basically, and then after that, you have John Cena on the cover of 2K15. That cover looks bland. I don't know if I'll buy that because Cena's on the cover, just for the sake and the hell of it. But moving on, and then all of a sudden, like I said, the Authority's being way too nice to him, and they were treating him, giving him all these things. And then they go into the whole easy way, hard way bullshit crap that I'm like, okay, this has just gone on way too much now. Let's just wrap this up. And then we get the announcement of what the main event will be at Battleground for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It will be John Cena versus Randy Orton versus Kane versus Roman Reigns. Oh, good God, another John Cena and Randy Orton match for the 100 and trillionth time. Do we really need this WWE? Hell no. Not only that, for some reason Triple H decides to book Roman Reigns in a title match where he got Vicky a few weeks ago to put him in a Royal Rumble match to become a contender in the Money in the Bank match to get past the Authority. Now all of a sudden Triple H is fine. Okay, I'm going to put you in the title match. Why? That's what I'd like to know. To me, that's one big logic fail on the part of the WWE, not realizing what they're doing. I actually found a few logic holes, I thought, throughout the entire show, and that was kind of the first one, where Triple H decides to book Roman Reigns in the match, and here I'm thinking, aren't you against Roman Reigns trying to get to the main championship? Strange. Moving on to the first match on the show, Seth Rollins versus Rob Van Dam, another repeated match on the WWE. And even though this was a decent match, I thought that Rob Van Dam and Seth Rollins were wrestling a little slower than usual. I think it was because they were really bummed up from the ladder match, which is pretty understandable. And with that said, I think that that Triple H is really high on Seth Rollins now, so he probably told him not to take any really big risks in your next matches because we want to keep you safe and protected to be that next guy to get the main championship. Maybe something like that happened. I don't know, maybe. But what happened was that Seth Rollins went over in this match, and after that we got to see Seth Rollins cut a promo. He was okay. It just felt a little. It just felt kind of rehearsed, a little forced. But then Dean Ambrose cuts him off and says that he better be careful when he tries to cash in, because it will end up blowing in your face, and every time you try to cash in, Seth Rollins, I will be there to screw you over. And I like what they're doing here with the clean, decisive end with Seth Rollins and Rob Van Dam, and then you get Dean Ambrose on the screen to close out this segment. And I like that the WWE has actually booked and developed a mid-card feud, something that they need to do more often. Moving on to a match that actually had a bit of life to and actually got me interested in watching it. And it's funny because Rusev is not one of those guys that really got me a lot of interest since his debut, and this was the best thing he's ever done. What happened was that Rusev and Lana came out, and I like that Lana was pulling away from bashing the American president, which is not really going to get the heel heat that they wanted. So they talk about what Americans are in America and about Vladimir Putin, which is a lot better to get that heel heat. And, they're talking about who's going to be the next American failure. Out comes Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. Alright, now we're going somewhere. And I really love the dynamics, how Lana was playing off Zeb Coulter's promo while he's talking about the freedom of speech and how they abused the freedom of speech aspect of America. So this was really, really great. And the standoff between Alexander Rusev and Jack Swagger was outstanding. And I like that both guys have two different managers that will speak for them. Just let them talk and let the other two guys duke it out in the ring. And like I said, I loved how this segment was well played. It was well done. The only issue I have is that for some reason the WWE gives Jack Swagger the opportunity, and every time he gets into opportunity, he somehow fails. I mean, he injured Wade Barrett, he injured Dolph Ziggler, he got himself arrested, he took 2 minutes to take down the Money in the Bank briefcase a couple of years ago. I mean, it's just like every single time Jack Swagger gets the ball, he always manages to screw it up. Jack Swagger, please, my advice to you, do not screw this up. To me, I look at this feud as a really good, patriotic, American versus non-American in a one-on-one confrontation, probably building up towards Battleground or maybe SummerSlam. That would be a great thing to do for this feud, I think, in my opinion. The next match was Sheamus and the Usos taking on the Wyatt family. This was your typical 6-man tag team match where it starts off slow, builds up, slows down, builds up again. It was a decent pace match where the Wyatt family won. I think that the Wyatt family winning was smart because of the fact that Bray Wyatt lost his match, and so did the Wyatt family at Money in the Bank. So in order to balance everything out and try to get that momentum back with the Wyatt family, have them win a match on Raw. So that was really smart on the part of the WWE. And we also got to see a Bo Dallas promo. Bo Dallas comes out and he says, let's take a moment for 60 seconds to pay respects to Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett for their injuries. And he was doing the whole thing for 60 seconds. And then they showed the video package of what happened at the pre-show between Bo Dallas and Daniel Bryan. The only issue I had with this segment is that this segment should have been in the reverse, the other way around. Show the video package first and then the 60 seconds of silence so that the WWE crowd doesn't feel the need to be forced to chant boner, boner to Bo Dallas. Just let it come natural. This would have come off a lot better if it was the video package first and then Bo Dallas doing the 60 seconds of silence to get those fans heated on him. That was the issue I had with that. But overall, I thought Bo Dallas with his character, he's great. I like that he does that annoying voice that, you just can't stand it. And when people can't stand it, you're doing something great. So hands off to Bo Dallas anyway for pulling off this segment. Also, we saw Nikki Bella versus Cameron and Naomi. Handicap match. Cameron and Naomi wins. And this was just a way to develop the feud between Naomi and Cameron. I think Naomi eventually will splinter off as a solo diva to get that babyface reaction, and I think that is the right thing to do with Naomi, I think, in my opinion, because of the fact that she's a really good, because she's a really good, gifted athlete, and the WWE needs to do more with her, and I like what they're doing here. The only issue is that Cameron, I don't know if she'll be as good as a heel like, I don't know, any other heel on like Alicia Fox on WWE, because what Alicia Fox has been doing was really great. I don't know if Cameron will even come close to a Alicia Fox. That's just my opinion. The next match on the card, which I have a lot of problems with, and I'm about to tell you why. Antonio Cesaro versus Kofi Kingston. I should say Cesaro. I'm still trying to get used to the whole name changes. What happened was that here you have Cesaro and Kofi Kingston. And a match that was actually going not half bad. It was an okay match until the WWE decided to put Kofi Kingston's win on the WWE app instead of on freaking television. I mean, that just goes to show you that even when Kofi wins, the WWE doesn't even give a crap. They give more of a crap with Cesaro beating down on Kofi Kingston after Kofi's win. That was ridiculous. That was stupid. Why, WWE, do you book a match and not have a pinfall victory on TV? Oh, painful. Moving on. Damien Sandow coming out as Vince McMahon. And here I'm thinking that he was doing a better job than Triple H done a Vince McMahon. Even Vince McMahon doing a Vince McMahon, Sandow was a lot better. I like when Damien Sandow comes out, he does a gimmick, and he really embraces it and puts everything out there on TV. He does a tremendous job here with Vince McMahon. And what happened was that Stephanie shows up on screen and says, "Who do you think you are, disrespecting the McMahon name? I'm going to put you in the match with the Great Khali," which was over in a second. Blink, you missed it. But the funny thing is, even though people like Steph, Triple H, and Vince approve of the segments on the show, why on earth, of all people, would Steph interrupt Damien Sandow? Even though they approve this kind of stuff, I'm not so sure about that. But it was funny the way Damien Sandow, and yeah, I understand a lot of fans are sick and tired of Damien Sandow week after week after week has been going down the totem pole. I completely understand that, and I agree. I think the WWE should just kill the pain and release him, or at least put him off TV and have himself being rebooted. Moving on to the greatest markout moment on the show. And it was the announcement of a return of a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. a multi-platinum selling superstar, or whatever it is they said. And then we hear, awesome, I came to play The Miz. And I was like, oh, jeez. I was like, okay, scrap this. I'm not watching. But I'm glad I didn't really tune out, because what happened was The Miz come out. He actually cut a really good promo. I like how he said, I won't leave until I main event WrestleMania, and that will probably be never. And I kind of like what he was doing here, talking trash to the fans, how they didn't treat him well in his career. To me, it almost feels like The Miz has been rebooted. I don't know. But the biggest pop of this segment was, break the walls down! Chris Jericho is back in the WWE. Hell yeah. Awesome. Here he comes out, and The Miz is like, who do you think you are interrupting me? And he gets a code breaker for it. And these are psyching up the fans. He gets the biggest pop that anyone has ever got on this segment, or on any segment of last night's Raw, and it was absolutely amazing. And then the lights go out. The Wyatt family appears, and they beat down Chris Jericho. This segment was well played. I almost kind of expected Chris Jericho to return. It was weird, because I was reading some tweets before this return of Jericho, and here we're thinking, oh, he's going to return? Oh, it's The Miz. Oh, wait, it's Chris Jericho. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool. The only little nitpicky I had with this is that maybe they could have holded it off the Wyatt family attacking Chris Jericho. Maybe he could have had a couple of matches before the Wyatt family decided to interrupt him. And they could have developed a feud between Jericho and The Miz that will probably end up happening. But I like that Chris Jericho actually put over the Wyatt family in a really dominant heel type of way. John Cena, take tips from Chris Jericho. He knows what he's doing in the ring. I mean, the Wyatt family just beat him down. Sister Abigail. And they get the fans heated on them. And Chris Jericho was able to put the Wyatt family over. This was well done on the part of WWE. The only thing is that this segment should have ended the show. Enough said. Dolph Ziggler versus Fandango. I'm not going to really go over this match a lot. What happened was that Dolph Ziggler won, and now he's the plot device being used here to further develop the whole Fandango, Summer Rae, and Layla feud. That's pretty much it. The Goldust and Stardust versus Ryback for the 100th time. I'm kind of sick of these two teams going head to head now. We need to mix it up now. Have Goldust and Stardust face different teams. Face them up with the Wyatt family, or the Usos, or Fandango and Damien Sandow, the bet that they had going for a while. Bring that back. Have them face Goldust and Stardust. That would be cool. But the one thing I do like about Cody Rhodes is that, like I said before, he's really owning this Stardust character. He's really become Stardust. I believe that he is Stardust, and I like how at the end of the match we got introduced to a new finisher. It's kind of like a leg sweep kind of face buster. It was interesting. It's something different, and I like different things with different gimmicks. Stardust is winning me over. And now we get to see another return. And this was the show of returns. Two big returns. Chris Jericho and now AJ Lee. What happened was that Paige first came out. And I like the idea of divas cutting promos on the show instead of having a pointless filler match with no consequence. At least they're giving Paige some mic time. The only thing is that they kind of made Paige look stupid. Because she kind of fell for the trap of AJ Lee coming back and somehow putting herself into a Divas Championship match. That was weird. But what happened was it came off as a well-played segment because it was poetic justice, because of what happened with AJ Lee and Paige the first time they met, and now the roles are now reversed. And I think that with this win for AJ, who is the new Divas champion, this will be a new fresh start for Paige. And I think coming off of this, it almost feels like now the roles are reversed. Paige is now the heel, it seems to be, and I think this is the right decision to go for with Paige, because the whole anti-diva idea should be played out even more. Her character should be further now developed as the anti-diva, and turning her heel is probably the best thing for her. Same with AJ Lee, because I always thought AJ Lee was a little bit better as a babyface, and I like that they're going that route with AJ Lee. So they're doing something great here. It's kind of almost reminiscent to Stone Cold and Bret Hart at WrestleMania, where one turned face and one turned heel. It's almost kind of like that, but I don't want to make the comparison. I just want to get you the idea of what this segment accomplished. It was set up and played out very well, in my opinion. And the main event happened. It was, and the funny thing is that when the main event happened, I was kind of like tuned out because of what happened earlier in the show with the whole Chris Jericho and AJ Lee, because the third hour of the show really picked up. To me, I thought that the first couple of hours were hit and miss, and then the third hour just went skyrocketed, shooted up, and it was great. You had John Cena and Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton and Kane. And to me, the match was kind of overshadowed by what happened at the end of the show. What happened was that Kane gets himself disqualified. He beats down John Cena, steel chairs, steel steps, etc., etc. And then the doctors are around to check John Cena to see if he's okay. You see Triple H in the ring. He's checking out Cena, and he's like, you know, talking to Seth Rollins, come out here, cash in. He's about to cash in, and then Dean Ambrose comes in, and I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. The only little issue is that, oh man, come on, wait for the bell to ring and then really screw him over. That would have really developed a lot more drama in their feud, and I like that they're focusing on a mid-card feud here with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Here they have them branching off. And the fun thing is that beforehand, when Roman Reigns and Randy Orton throughout the match kind of like branched it off backstage, you kind of don't know what happened. But then all of a sudden Reigns comes back. I guess you get the idea that he kind of took out Randy Orton backstage, but we never really got to see what happened backstage on camera. That's the only other issue that I had with this main event. But I like what they've done here, and I like what they teased here. Triple H, Roman Reigns, probably end up happening at SummerSlam or possible Night of Champions, and I like what they're doing. They're setting up SummerSlam, the Night of Champions, the next couple of months. At least the WWE is giving a really good direction here to see where they're going to go in terms of booking the next couple of pay-per-view events. I think Battleground is just going to be the filler pay-per-view before SummerSlam, before the big summer special event, as I call it. So overall, I thought this show was a very, very interesting, weird, okay show with a couple of really good returns and a good way to end the show, but not so good in the beginning. So overall, I would rate this a 6 out of 10. And if you saw Monday Night Raw last night, what did you think about it? Feel free to chime in. Comment below, let me know. While you're at it, you can hit that subscribe button down below this video. You can also follow MRB Wrestling on Twitter, and you can like us on Facebook at the Mick Rock and Bolt Wrestling Review Show. And on a final note to all you viewers watching, get plenty of rest, and always do your best.